Take the money and leave, please. The Swedish government is offering to pay immigrants $34,000 if they go back to their home country.
Welcome. Today, we turn our attention to Sweden, long regarded as a beacon of prosperity, social trust, and stability. In recent years, the picture has become more complicated. This video takes you through the facts, the numbers, and the policy decisions that have shaped Sweden's contemporary challenges. The goal is to provide a balanced overview, helping you understand what the data show and what they do not. A few decades ago, Sweden epitomized the welfare model known as folkhemmet, literally, the people's home. This concept, articulated in the early 20th century, stressed equality, social security, and a sense of community. After the Second World War, Sweden's economy grew rapidly. To meet labor demand, industries recruited workers from Italy, Greece, Yugoslavia, and Turkey. In the following decades, Sweden also welcomed significant numbers of refugees from the Middle East, Latin America, and Africa fleeing war and persecution. These movements gradually reshaped the social landscape of many towns and cities. People of diverse backgrounds settled in Sweden's suburbs, bringing new languages, cuisines, and traditions. Alongside opportunities, these changes created challenges in schooling, housing, and employment. The year 2015 marked a peak in asylum applications across Europe. Sweden received about 163,000 asylum seekers that year, more per capita than any other EU member. Initially, the generous asylum policy reflected Sweden's humanitarian tradition. As the numbers grew, capacity stretched. Local services struggled to provide housing and integration programs. A cross-party shift led to tighter migration rules. Border controls were reintroduced, family reunification was restricted, and temporary residence permits became the norm. In 2024, the Swedish Migration Agency granted just 6,250 residence permits linked to asylum, including family members, down from tens of thousands earlier in the decade, and the lowest annual total since records began in 1985. Integration is never instantaneous. It often takes years for newcomers to learn the language, build social networks, and find stable employment. In Sweden, unemployment among foreign-born residents has consistently been higher than among people born in the country. Language barriers can slow progress in education and the labor market. Economic segregation has left some suburbs with high concentrations of poverty, youth unemployment, and overcrowded housing. Such conditions can create fertile ground for gangs and criminal networks. In 2024, Sweden recorded 92 cases of fatal violence, 30 fewer than the previous year, and the lowest level in a decade. Nonetheless, the country still sees roughly 2.5 times as many firearm-related deaths per capita as the European Union average. In Stockholm, the firearm homicide rate in 2022 was estimated at 25 to 30 times higher than London's. Early in 2025, the Stockholm region experienced a wave of more than 30 explosions in a single month, linked by police to gang extortion. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson acknowledged publicly that the state did not yet have full control over the spike in violence. In response, legislators introduced a suite of measures. Expanded electronic surveillance for suspects under 18, the ability for police to designate security zones where searches can be carried out without individual suspicion for up to 2 weeks, stricter penalties for gun crimes, and tougher sentencing guidelines for organized crime. Crime trends must be placed in context. London, for example, has witnessed a fall in homicides and a decline in knife violence among young people. Recorded violent offenses dropped across all 32 of its boroughs, and the homicide rate in 2024 was about 1.2 per 100,000 residents. Comparisons are complicated by differences in definitions and reporting. In Sweden, each incident of rape or sexual assault is counted separately. In England and Wales, only the most serious offense in a series is usually recorded. Swedish law uses a consent-based definition of rape that is broader than many European codes. Researchers note that increases in reported sexual offenses reflect not only crime levels, but also legal changes and greater willingness of victims to report. In England and Wales, 36% of police-recorded sexual offenses in the year ending June 2024 were classified as rape. Surveys indicate that 4.1% of adults have experienced rape or attempted rape in their lifetime, while 2.6% of people aged 16 to 59 experienced sexual assault in the year year ending March 2024. Swedish authorities say that if their statistics were compiled using the narrower definitions of countries like Germany, Sweden would fall around the European median. Data on suspects show that foreign-born individuals in the country are registered at higher rates than native-born residents. When age, sex, and socio-economic conditions are taken into account, the gap narrows. Experts underline that poverty, lack of education, joblessness, and residential segregation are the main drivers of gang recruitment and long-term disadvantage. Many young offenders come from areas where graduation rates are low and employment opportunities scarce. Schools and municipalities in those districts often report that they struggle to offer adequate support. Because of teacher shortages and budget constraints, the government's response spans many areas. Immigration rules have been tightened and asylum processes accelerated. Policymakers aim to link permanent residence permits to knowledge of the national language and civics. Inspired partly by neighboring Denmark's model, there are proposals to lower the age of criminal responsibility from 15 to 14 for serious offenses. Legislation adopted in 2024 allows for security zones in high-risk areas and criminal penalties for storing weapons in public spaces. At the same time, authorities offer voluntary return assistance to people without legal residence. Adults can receive up to 10,000 kroner, and families up to 40,000 kroner to support departure. Plans for larger grants in future budgets are under discussion. Municipalities and national agencies are also investing in early intervention programs, language tuition for immigrant adults, vocational training, support for at-risk students, mentoring schemes, and cooperation with local sports clubs to keep young people engaged in positive activities. Police outreach teams visit schools to discourage gang recruitment, and social workers partner with community organizations to identify youths at risk. The country's story illustrates that social change rarely follows a single trajectory. A nation can maintain high levels of trust and equality in many areas, while grappling with pockets of violence and inequality. Economic factors matter. This state remains one of Europe's richest societies, with generous parental leave, public health care, and free university education. Yet wealth is unevenly distributed. Property prices in metropolitan regions have skyrocketed, pushing lower-income families into less connected suburbs. Political dynamics matter too. Since 2022, the nation has been governed by a center-right coalition reliant on a confidence and supply agreement with the populist Sweden Democrats. That agreement, known as the Tidö Agreement, prioritizes crime and immigration issues. It calls for harsher penalties, expanded powers for police, and stricter asylum policies. Critics argue that it risks stigmatizing migrants and undermining civil liberties. Supporters say it responds to public concerns and a real increase in gang-related violence. For an international audience, this experience is instructive. It shows that migration alone neither causes nor prevents crime. Integration policies succeed when they are holistic, addressing education, employment, housing, and health together. We hope this explanation has broadened your perspective. Feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts and subscribe to our channel.
Sweden, who would believe this? Sweden, they took in large numbers. They're having problems like they never thought possible.